Yo, what's up? Welcome inside the opening line, coming at you on a Friday before you get away for your weekend. If you're drafting this weekend, don't forget fantasyguru.com. Draft Guide 2019. Got you covered. You want to hop on over there and get that purchase right now. Corey and Benny, what's up? What's good with you, Benny?
Oh, not much, man. I had a rough night last night, but luckily I think I passed that stone because my stomach's not hurting that much anymore, but I did not get a lot of sleep. So I definitely need to figure out some way to take a nap today. I might even take off baseball for like the first time in 2 months or so tonight.
Yeah, well, definitely hope that you start feeling better. And if you did have that happen last night, hopefully that helps it out. Because you got the boys down there with you. The crew coming down?
Yeah, my wife will be down. She took a half day, so she'll be down at like 1 o'clock, and then a couple other family members will probably stop by or something like that. It's I'll tell you this, man. I do not wish kidney stones on my worst enemy like that. That's
yeah. Nah, son, I never had one, but everybody I know that's had them have said, yo.
Public service announcement, dude, drink your water, man, because this is not something anybody wants to go through.
All right, there you go. Let's hop on right quick, talk about some of the action from last night. Philadelphia and Jacksonville. Philadelphia getting the 24-10 win. Starting to see more and more come up about this kid, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
So first off, I want to say, shout out to Fried Egg Paulie, who was all over some of these bets last night. I was watching baseball for a little bit in between, running back and forth from the bathroom. This was a game that I was so confident in the Eagles because the Jacksonville, to me, they lost 27-0 last week, and they did not look good doing it. So, this is definitely something to worry about. So you talk about JJ for a minute because I want to talk about Miles Sanders for a minute when you're done.
No, Arcega-Whiteside is a player I think you'll start to see get some love in rounds 14, 15, and 16 this weekend. What do you think about Miles?
Yeah, so here's the thing I want to talk about with Miles Sanders, right? He didn't have a lot of action yesterday. He went like 5 for 31 yards, I think, which is, pretty good, 6 yards a carry, even though he only got a couple carries there. But basically, I wanted to talk about a story that was on NJ.com today. So Zach Rosenblatt, guy who follows the Eagles, South Jersey guy, who goes through, basically said it's clear to anybody who's been watching practice in the games that Miles Sanders is the best running back in the team.
Yeah.
That, at this point, it's also pretty clear to anybody watching that he's going to be their number one running back. But, and there's the but here, but Jordan Howard is going to take some early down work for him.
Yeah.
Really what this kind of says to me is I do not want to draft Howard because, again, I didn't draft Howard anyway, but you don't want Howard on your team because at best he's going to run a couple times on first and second down. But I haven't been as high on Miles Sanders as I know you have been and a couple other people. It looks like Miles Sanders is the real deal and is going to be, a big-time piece for this Eagles offense.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what his draft stock is like this week. He may start to push up into that 4th, 5th round range, which I really would have no problem with depending on the running backs on the board. Would you go Sanders or Tevin Coleman?
I mean, I'm still more of a Tevin Coleman guy.
Me too, but Sanders is getting there.
But, yeah, it's a lot more of a discussion than it was a week ago.
No doubt. I would agree with you on that. The Jets went down to Atlanta, beat up on the Falcons 22-10. Another one that was right by Fried Egg Paulie. He hit this one too. Quadri Allison, 44 yards, leads the Atlanta Falcons rushing attack. Better game from Ito last night, Benny, but I'm liking Allison more at this point. If I'm looking for a potential replacement to Devontae Freeman or a handcuff for Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the big thing here is that this really means that Freeman is going to get as much work as possible because I don't really like any of the guys behind them, and the fact that they're all kind of fighting, means that there really isn't a clear number 2 behind them that is going to be nipping at his heels for carries and stuff like that. Want to give a shout out to the Jets though on the Jets side. Sam Darnold looked pretty good in some of those throws. I got to be honest, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cynical Jet fan because I've been a Jet fan my entire life, but. Things look like they could be pretty good this year for my team.
You have a reason to be optimistic if you're a New York Jet fan. I would agree with you on that. Sam Darnold does look like he's capable of getting the job done. And hopefully Adam Gase don't mess it up. And you got Le'Veon Bell, so a good running game. We'll see what happens. Matt Ryan played last night. He played very well. Who was it talking about? I believe it was Jim Day and Mike Blewett. the Dirk Cutter years, Matt Bryant tends to throw more interceptions. My thing is, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some leagues that give you big penalties for interceptions, but he's going to throw so many yards and so many touchdowns that he's going to offset that. So I'm not really that worried about it.
Not tripping off it. Right quick, Nick Foles last night. One thing I would say, he was firing the football down the field. That's one thing you love about Foles is that deep passing game. And that's what he's going to do. That's why I do like Chris Conley this weekend in the last round could be interesting. Conley has that top end speed, and that's definitely a part of what we see that Nick Foles likes to do. Cincinnati and D.C. Dwayne Haskins looked better last night, but it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I mean, was he like 7 for 14 or something? So the accuracy.
4 for 14.
All right, yeah. I mean, the accuracy was definitely off. He did, yeah. He did. I mean, he did a couple nice things. He's a rookie, right? I mean, this is what you get with the rookie. He's going to do some nice things where he flashes and shows you, hey, this guy's got talent. But this is a tough league, and it takes a while to get used to it. I think what this really says is something we talked about yesterday, where Case Keenum probably starts the season as their quarterback. At some point, I think they do get Haskins in there, but it might not be as early as some people are hoping it would be.
I agree. Haskins played into the fourth quarter last night. I found that interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they do that because they really don't expect him to be the starter during the year, and they want to get him as much time out there as possible. I think it makes sense. It's a smart thing to do.
Baltimore and Green Bay. Twitter exploded last night. That's one thing about these games on Thursday, Friday nights heading into the weekend. You could start to see a groundswell if a player does a highlight play in a preseason game, and we saw a highlight play in a preseason game last night. Lamar Jackson, that looks like a young Michael Vick, Benny.
Yeah, you're talking about the run for the touchdown, right? He just one guy, then he hurdled another guy. That was nice. It was nice. I actually caught it on SportsCenter this morning, but I didn't watch this game last night. Another interesting thing from this game, though, Corey, Justice Hill, 10 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Kid looks like the real deal. Now, again, I'm on Mark Ingram. I like Mark Ingram a lot.
You may need to get both of them, Benny. I like both of them.
That's what I was going to say. I think Justice Hill needs to be rostered in every league because
in the 12 team league with 16 roster spots, Justice Hill needs to be on the roster.
Agree, because this kid's got talent.
I can say borderline a 10-team league too.
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think that Mark Ingram is not going to have a role. But this kid, Justice Hill, is legit, and he's got speed, and, they're going to use him this year. I don't think you're going to get the 15 to 20 touches that people would like from there, like RB1, RB2. So, really, he's more of just like a flex play. But God forbid if Mark Ingram goes down, I think this kid could be electric, Corey.
You look at the players that they brought in this year and what they got on the roster. Lamar Jackson, Justice Hill, Hollywood Brown, speed. The Ravens are going to try to kill you with speed this year. You can see this how the team is setting up. So it's going to be interesting. With nothing really much to discuss and talk about on the Bengals side of things. The Packers last night didn't really see much from them either, Benny, that would say, okay, this is something that we need to look at moving into the weekend. As far as the running game goes, we didn't see Aaron Jones. So, we didn't see Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Deshaun Kaiser went out there and got some work along with Tim Boyle. But we did see 3 targets for our guy Geronimo. And other than that, regular ho-hum game.
Yeah, not much to really worry about. Now, remember, everybody, this is week 2 of the preseason. So even the games tonight and tomorrow, they might not be super exciting. Week 3 is when you really want to make sure you sit down and watch because that's when a lot of the starters are going to play. Depending on the coach, at least the first quarter. Some of them will play the whole first half. But you'll get to start seeing, the which guys are on the field, who's playing in the slot, who's playing outside, things like that. So week 3, we'll have a lot to talk about. These kind of weeks, we're just kind of looking for, late round guys really are the only ones that are playing.
No doubt. Kyler Murray last night, Oakland, another one that Friday Paulie hit. You got Oakland and you got Arizona. Kyler Murray 3 for 8 last night. Didn't look as sharp as he did in week 1. There's going to be some situations like that. This team has a poor offensive line. That's one of the other reasons why I'm really not in on this. We saw David Johnson get a couple carries last night. On the Oakland side of things, you don't see Antonio Brown. but you do see 4 carries from 21 yards for Josh Jacobs. I am not a Josh Jacobs supporter, Benny, but okay, so there you go. You can't even talk the other side for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't see it.
Like, my whole thing is, like, he's a rookie running back on a bad team, right? So, we've had people like, oh, yeah, well, rookie running backs have done well lately. Yeah, but, I mean, they're like Saquon Barkley and, like guys that are just elite rookie running backs. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't look at Josh Jacobs as elite.
Christian McCaffrey, he's not one of these. Alvin Kamara, he's not one of these kind of players. You know what I mean? So you're right, Benny. He's not elite. I don't see – I like other rookie running backs better.
Yeah, I will say this. The news coming out of Oakland is that Antonio Brown is getting very close – bless you – getting very close to joining the football team and coming back to the field and doing all the things that we expect him to do, which is good because, I mean, we're talking 2 weeks before the season here. This guy – first a cryogenic frozen foot, then the whole helmet situation. I want to see, especially because people are still taking this guy 3rd round, 4th round. Like, I want to see Antonio Brown put on a football uniform and start playing football and getting rid of all this other BS. Because I do have a couple shares.
No doubt. Another thing about AB, I think the feet will be AB just don't want to practice right now. That's basically all it is. Baby.
That's fine. Dude, veterans, I'm good with that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, but it's time to start getting in football mode. Odell's probably doing the same thing right now. Mm-hmm. He's dealing with a hip. I'm like, he probably don't want to practice, and I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? So there you go right there. Mike Glennon with 175 yards passing last night. I did a league the other night, Benny, with my 2 quarterbacks. I played quarterback chicken a little bit too long. My 2 quarterbacks were Derek Carr and Nick Foles. So good luck to that team.
Yeah, that is a little. You waited way too long if that's the case.
All right, preseason matchups tonight, Benny. You got Buffalo going down to Carolina to take on the Panthers in Charlotte, and I guess we want to continue to see how Josh Allen and this Buffalo offense develops. The kid Devin Singletary, I don't really see a path to big time carries for him this year. Mm-hmm. Shady and the whole crew there, but what do you think about this this Buffalo offense?
Yeah, so I mean, the Buffalo offense to me, like, you mentioned it. I think the kid Singletary's got a bright future. If you're doing fantasy dynasty drafts, that's the kind of kid you want, but I don't expect much out of him this year. I do like Josh Allen a little bit, mostly because he's going to run, right? Like, this is a guy that'll pick up some yards with his legs. We saw him do it last year. So fantasy-wise, when you're looking for a QB2 late in drafts, Josh Allen is a guy who I have a couple shares of. Again, I don't know how well he's going to do passing, right? Like, if he throws for 200 yards a game, if he gets to 3,000 yards on the season, I'd probably be pretty impressed with that.
That'd be a success.
Yeah, like, that would kind of be – I think that's kind of his high. Like, that would kind of be his ceiling. But he could run for 400 or 500 yards. Like, he could pick up 30, 40 yards a game easily with his legs, and, that counts. That counts as well. Remember, every 25 yards passing is worth 1 point every 10 yards rushing. So rushing for 40 yards is the equivalent for throwing for another 100. 200 plus 100, when you look at it that way, the guy's going to put up the same kind of numbers as a lot of other quarterbacks.
Chicago Bears, you need to get that, Benny?
No, go ahead. Whatever the hell they're doing, I'm gonna let them do it right now.
Benny said it's on y'all.
That's it.
They grown this morning, Benny. Chicago and the Giants tonight. That one's on NFL Network. You want to continue to see the progress of Daniel Jones. Golden Tate out the first 4 weeks. That's confirmed now. Sterling Shepard should be ready to go for week 1. Evan Ingram is a guy who could see a bump this weekend in drafts. Don't forget about Sterling Shepard this weekend in drafts, Benny. You pointed it out earlier this week. He should be good to go for week 1, and he'll get a month of being one of this team's top targets.
Yeah, I mean, I think he will be the team's top target. He was last year after, Odell Beckham and it's Saquon Barkley too. Barkley's going to get a lot of catches too. But, without Golden Tate in there, I think he's going to be somebody that they're going to have to lean on heavily, and I think people are a little scared away because a lot of these drafts have a little Q next to his name, but everything that I'm reading says he's going to be ready for week 1, so I do like Sterling Shepard.
Great in that wide receiver 3 range, that flex range. So I'm a fan of Shepard too. He finished the top 30 wide receiver last year, so he could finish in that top 24 this year. And he's going well below that. Other side of the football, Bernie, with the Bears. Have you heard anything about Trubisky in camp? Because I'm not a Trubisky supporter. I do like Allen Robinson as a bounce back. Really, I want to see the kid Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about Trubisky being more accurate this year, but I mean, you're going from a pretty low bar. So, being more accurate is good. I mean, I don't think he's going to come out there and be, Tom Brady in his prime and picking defenses apart like that. But the kid does have some decent legs. He's got a decent arm. He's athletic. I mean, wasn't he the number 1 pick or number 2 pick when he came out? I mean, there's somebody that they were expecting him to have some upside. The Bears seem to like him. And the thing I like about the Bears, Corey, they have a lot of good weapons around them. They got good wide receivers. They got a good tight end. They got a couple good running backs in there that they could roll in and out. This is going to be an offense where, I think it's going to be a lot like they were last year, where everybody kind of gets a taste, and you have a lot of good players out there. So it's very tough to defend the team when there's no true, we have to go to this guy, we have to go to this guy. Yeah. When everybody is out there and everybody is in play, and they got a good coaching staff that takes advantage of what the other teams don't do well, I think he's going to be decent this year. I'm not going to say I don't think he's a quarterback 1, but I think when you're looking at
weeks where he finishes the quarterback 1.
Yes, when you're looking at like a 12-team league, he's right on the border right there of somebody who could be considered there.
Don't forget Montgomery this weekend in your drafts. If you are employing a strategy where you go heavy on the wide receivers, pass catchers like that first, when you get to that 4th round, Montgomery as your RB1 could be a way to hit. So keep that in your mind this weekend when you're at your draft table. Like I said, we like Allen Robinson to bounce back. Allen Robinson or Sterling Shepard?
I like A-Rob a little bit more. Not that I don't like Shepard, but I like A-Rob a little bit more.
I would agree with that right there, but A-Rob is also going a little bit higher. You can walk away with both of those dudes. Miami and Tampa tonight down in Florida. Jameis and the boys will be out there playing. Free Rojo is the hashtag. I guess you just still want to see some more, Benny, of what's going on with this running game. Yep. And with the Buccaneers also, if Chris Godwin catches a touchdown pass tonight, he might jump into the 3rd round.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The big thing I'm looking at is what the running backs look like, right? Because there's Barber and Rojo are 2 guys that are going way late in drafts. So if you can see something with these guys and kind of get a read on which one is going to be the guy this year, I mean, I would need to see Rojo really have a good game because I keep giving this kid the benefit of the doubt. And to be honest with you, Corey, so far he hasn't earned it. So I want to see him at least do something that I can hang my hat on before I start backing.
No doubt. And like I said, be careful. Well, I don't want to say be careful with Godwin. It's like y'all know I think his ADP is too high. I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
It could be. Listen, if he has a 100-catch season and I'm wrong, then so be it. But he's going to be in that 4th round range. If he falls to that 5th, I think I snag him because of that's probably more where he needs to be. When you look at the other side of the football, Miami, it's not much to see there, but we should get a healthy dose of Kalen Ballage to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Kalen Ballage and Kenyon Drake situation yesterday. With Drake being a little banged up, now he should be back, but according to everything that we're reading, worst case scenario, Kalen Ballage and Kenyon Drake are going to have a 50-50 split this season. Best case scenario is Drake doesn't get back in time and Ballage is 70-80% of the carries because the guys behind them on the depth chart are pretty crappy. Other thing we talked about yesterday, I saw another story about it today, so I feel like it's gaining steam and we need to make sure people know. Josh Rosen will be the starter for this team at some point during the year. It's probably not going to be week 1. I have some Ryan Fitzpatrick shares. I'll probably get a couple starts at a Fitz early, but it does seem like they're grooming Rosen to take over that job at some point during the year and kind of play it out, whether it is to see if he could be their starter or whether they're just showcasing him for a possible trade again so that they can go get one of these kids that is coming out of college. And I do think Josh Rosen is going to wind up making more starts than Ryan Fitzpatrick this year.
All right, there you go. With that information right there, we was on the verge of hitting a 5-team parlay last night, Benny. But the under in the Astros and the A's did not come in, even though the game was 0-0 in the 4th inning. The bats got hot. We got back-to-back jacks from Olsen and Chapman. And after that, I said, you know what? Let me just finish this off and think about what could have been. They don't give you a cash out option on the 5-team parlay, especially when that 4th leg is already down.
Yeah. But honestly, it wasn't a bad night for me last night.
That Jarvis prop hit for you.
Yeah, the Darvish prop hit. Bryce Harper hit his home run. The problem is the Bryce Harper home run made me lose the Cubs game. because
Okay.
I had the Cubs on that on not on the parlay, but I had the Cubs to win that game, and then Harper hitting the home run let them win 7-5, so I lost that one. Hit on the Reds won 2-1. I like that, and I'm actually looking to go back there tonight. The Reds tonight, you got Luis Castillo on the mound, minus 165 against the Cardinals again. I don't really think the Cardinals are a very good team, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Castillo is an absolute stud. So Luis Castillo against the Cardinals, minus 165. That's going to be my key game tonight, Corey. The only other two games that I really like are the Mets with Syndergaard on the mound at minus 190 and the Astros with Verlander on the mound at minus 210. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Reds at 165 and parlay them with the Mets. That'll pay plus 150. And then the Reds at minus 165 parlayed with the Astros. That'll pay plus 145. So I'm hoping that, the Reds being the key to that. If the Reds win, if those other two teams win, I'm getting 3-1 back. If one of them win, I still wound up making a little bit of a profit tonight. So Reds, Astros, Reds, Mets, those are my two parlays today.
Before we get up out of here, Benny, had to take a look, and I opened up my Instagram this morning, and the first thing I see is the hand slap heard around the world. Can you see that?
No, I can't.
This is –
What is it? I'll look it up.
This is Jay-Z and Roger Goodell dapping each other up.
I don't want to look that up right
very
now.
Bad optics, Benny.
I said we talked about it yesterday.
Roger Goodell's hand is all the way up here. Jay-Z's hand is down here. It's like, no.
Like I said, this was not a match made in heaven. This is one of those forced ones that make you scratch your head and go, what are these guys thinking? So
quickly, I give my big piece of chicken to my girl. My baby girl, Kennedy, she turns 9 years old today. You know what I'm saying? So far, so good. First 9 years down in the books. What you got, Benny?
Yeah, I'll give mine to the staff at Southern Ocean Medical for keeping me alive. That was a big deal for me. So, they gave me good meds and they sent me home with good instructions. And like I said, the stone has passed. Now I just need to get some rest and get back to normal for next week. All
right, so there we go. Shout out to Benny. We're going to hop off of here early today. Everybody enjoy the weekend. We'll be back and rock and rolling with you Monday morning. Opening line. We are out.